World-changing economies take time, and they cannot happen in isolation. And circular economy is no different. At Impact Hub Berlin, we are on a mission to bring circular economy front and center. We are a hub for mission-aligned entrepreneurs, a very curated community of entrepreneurs that are all working towards the same goal, supporting them with a dedicated co-working space and full-scale ecosystems. Our ecosystem approach stems from the fact that impact cannot happen in isolation. It needs collective action. In each ecosystem we try and become the convergence point where various stakeholders, whether it's academia, policymakers, large corporates, SMEs, investors, startups, can come together and find ways to collaborate. We currently focus on circular economy, sustainable food, diversity, equity and inclusion, and also green tech. Our circular economy ecosystem includes a Berlin Startup Stipendium-funded incubator Circular Together. Together, we have supported and scaled more than 50 startup entrepreneurs with their projects. We also run hackathons, trend reports, stakeholder workshops, and run our own track at our first ecosystem summit this year. We also like to walk the talk. The 3,500 square meters co-working space is built and operated according to sustainable circular economy principles. This is where you can come and connect with other innovators, attend inspiring events, and access resources needed to grow your impact. With 25 team offices, makerspaces, a cafe, a rooftop terrace, this is Europe's largest impact hub to date. There is a lot of movement in the space, and with ecosystem approach at the center of this movement, we at Impact Hub are just getting started. World-changing economies take time, and they cannot happen in isolation. And circular economy is no different. At Impact Hub Berlin, we are on a mission to bring circular economy front and center. We are a hub for mission-aligned entrepreneurs, a very curated community of entrepreneurs that are all working towards the same goal, supporting them with a dedicated co-working space and full-scale ecosystems. Our ecosystem approach stems from the fact that impact cannot happen in isolation. It needs collective action. In each ecosystem we try and become the convergence point where various stakeholders, whether it's academia, policymakers, large corporates, SMEs, investors, startups, can come together and find ways to collaborate. We currently focus on circular economy, sustainable food, diversity, equity and inclusion, and also green tech. Our circular economy ecosystem includes a Berlin Startup Stipendium-funded incubator Circular Together. Together, we have supported and scaled more than 50 startup entrepreneurs with their projects. We also run hackathons, trend reports, stakeholder workshops, and run our own track at our first ecosystem summit this year. And access resources needed to grow your impact. With 25 team offices, makerspaces, a cafe, a rooftop terrace, this is Europe's largest impact hub to date. There is a lot of movement in the space, and with ecosystem approach at the center of this movement, we at Impact Hub are just getting started. Looks like you liked it. Well, hello everybody. My name is Harsha. If you didn't see me there, you see me now again. I'm the head of circular economy at Impact Hub Berlin. And everybody else you saw in the video, you will see them scattered throughout this room, so make sure to go say hi to them later on. But before we move forward, I want to do a little exercise because I was encouraging you before to just kind of say hi to your neighbor, but now I want to mandate it. Look to your left or to your right. The first person you make eye contact with, I want you to ask these questions. TikTok. Okay, 10 seconds. High five or it didn't happen. All right, 10 seconds are up. Again, come back, everybody. I see one high five. High five or it didn't happen. Perfect. Perfect. Go team. All right. Well, keep this energy of interacting later as well, because after this we do have time for mingling. Make sure you meet somebody you've never met before and kind of have that interaction again. This is a good starting point if you don't know what to ask. But now coming back to why you're here. The reason we are here is because of this date, 28th of July. 28th of July is the date where Earth overshoots itself, which means that all the resources that Earth can by itself regenerate, us as an average of humanity would have already consumed. And this is what this means is that if everybody on Earth, an average of everybody consumes in Earth, we need 2 Earths to sustain ourselves each year. But then the operating word here is average, because if we move forward, if everybody on Earth operates and consumes the way we consume in Germany, we don't need 2, but we need 3 Earths, because we already would have crossed that limit on 4th of May this year. And this is kind of why we want to come together. This is why we say, hey, what can we do right now? We can go talk to governments like, hey, GDP is not the right way to calculate growth of a country. Can we talk degrowth? But that's not a very comfortable conversation. So then we go for what's next. Circular economy could be one of the key components while we shift economies from linear to circular. And the question comes again, how can we have infinite growth on a finite planet? And the answer could be, a part of the answer could be in this room, because this is why we are here. We are here for companies such as these 14 startups who are building their solutions in this zone of circularity, who are trying to reduce, recycle, remanufacture, repurpose existing material. So we don't ask a finite planet for infinite resources. So yep, this is why we are here. Welcome officially to the Community Showcase of Circular Together Incubator. It is funded very kindly by Berlin Startup Stipendium. It's 6 months, countless number of coachings, countless number of one-on-ones. We train them, we question them, we challenge them on their businesses. These are early stage businesses. They started from almost scratch when they came to us, and now 6 months later, here we are, and we are so, so, so proud. And this is not an investor event. We just want to celebrate what they have done in this 6 months. This is why we call it a showcase and not a demo day. So yep, that's kind of what we are, but then also something about the space. Where you are is Impact Hub Berlin. Most of you should know about it, but then quick refresher, it's not just in Berlin. Impact Hub is in more than 60 countries with 24,000 plus members. And these members aren't just entrepreneurs. We are bringing all stakeholders, whether it's academia or policymakers or stakeholders like corporates or big pharma, big manufacturers, everybody coming together with startups to bring that impact forward. And we become this converging point. And like we said in the video, this Impact Hub is the largest in Europe to date. A little bit more about the team. Sprinkled in this room, you will also see the people who make it happen. So you've met me already. You also have Leon, who's the managing director. He's sitting right in the back. First day back after paternity, so pretty good day to be back. Sarah, who is pretty much the Swiss Army knife of this team. She's the project manager. She's led this program for more than 2 years now. Anna, who's the admin finance muscles behind a very intense Senate conversation. Julian is the head coach and the prime ambassador of the teams. Edel is the venture scouting and also investor scouting manager and brings partnerships to the team. And Diego is managing operations but also leads research. But that's not all. We have to thank people who make this happen for us behind the scenes. Ecosystem partner for us for circular economy is Miele, but we are also on the periphery, also supported by other companies, because we keep repeating and can't repeat enough that impact cannot happen in isolation. It needs collective action. So big shout out to all these guys, but also, thank you. But also very, very big shout out to all the coaches and advisors who have held these companies hand by hand throughout their journey. And big shout out to some of the coaches that I do see here. So thanks a lot. And you see by the enthusiasm that the teams have been thrilled to work with them. It takes effort and time, and they take the time to nurture, which is more than just a transactional relationship. So we are extremely proud and privileged that you choose us to spend time with us. When this works, I will tell you what comes next. Okay, we are quickly jumping into the program. So a quick background on why you are meeting these teams here, what brought them. We went out and looked for them exclusively. We also do an online outreach, but then most of the companies here, we kind of met in an event, somebody recommended. Warm introductions are a very, very strong lead for us. Also something, if you're interested in building a program, let us know. Come to us, talk to us, because it's difficult for us to just find you online, discover you. And we have a couple of programs that we're looking for, but yeah. So very thorough online search. We get 118 completed qualified applications, and out of which 17 were the shortlist, and then after 2 or 3 days of grueling selections, we finally had 14 teams in the cohort. And these are the teams. We don't have 2 today, but we have 12, which means a bigger break for you. So you meet 6 teams, we get a little break, and then we have 6 teams again. 3 minutes per pitch, couple of minutes in the turnover, and soon around 6, we are free for fryer ribbons, some beers at the Babette, maybe a couple of empanadas, and we have a fun time. And a couple of house rules before we get started. First is, please mute yourself. If your phone's expecting a call, just put it on ringer, or put it on not on ringer, on vibrate, but try not to make that sound. Also applies to yourself, so please try not to speak during. And we will be making some photos and videos. So if you feel like you don't want to be photographed, you don't want to be anywhere, your footprint on this event, maybe go to the stairs. It's kind of like a blind spot. We don't make photos there. Do it now. And last but not the least, just be kind to the people who are presenting, be kind to each other, because if you were on stage, act like how you would like your audience to act. It's a very simple, kind exchange. And I think with that, we are pretty much ready with our first team. And I would introduce you to Sarah once again, who will introduce the team to you.
Thank you, Harsha. Yeah, I'm very happy to introduce you to the first 6 teams, because I think it's probably the reason why we're all here, to see what the teams achieved, what happened the last 6 months. And I'm very happy to introduce you to the first team. You might think it's easy to build an e-commerce market platform, but let me tell you, it's not. But if there is one team who can make it happen, it's Satori Earth. Tan, exactly, thank you. Tan and Joseph has been working so hard the last 6 months. I can tell, I have seen it, and especially Tan being like a sales machine, which is a key ingredient for building a marketplace. I'm very happy to introduce you. So welcome on stage, Tan and Joseph.
Thank you, Sarah.
Hi, everyone. So my name is Tan. I'm the commercial co-founder of Satori. Prior to Satori, I was at Bain, which is a management consulting firm driving the global marketing strategy for the sales and marketing practice. I also spent 2 years at Zalando, as you know, one of the biggest fashion marketplaces in Europe. And I would say this is where I learned a lot about how this gigantic industry works behind the scene. And I also saw what it takes to build and run a big marketplace.
Hi, this is work? Yeah. Hi, I'm Joe. I spent the last 10 years building digital products and teams at companies like Accenture and McKinsey. In 2019, I founded a digital bank based in the US that was sold last year. And then since then, me and Tan have been working on Satori full time.
Yep. Okay, so let me start with a very humble ambition. We want to build the world's biggest B2B marketplace for preferred material. We focusing first on the fashion industry because it is one of the most polluting industry in the world, and the choice of material is actually the #1 impact driver. It accounts for about 70% of a label overall environmental footprint. Some context setting. This is a very simplified overview of how the fashion supply chain looks like. Very fragmented, multiple tiers, and every tier specialized in a different job. One of the reasons for this is to make the clothes for all of us to wear. The fashion label actually don't make the material by themselves. For example, the fabrics, the button, the zipper. So this leads to like a huge global sourcing industry, about 500 billion in annual transactions. And the entire process is still happening offline. It means that if you want to buy material, you have to go traveling around the world to different countries. What we're doing at Satori is to make responsible material sourcing as easy as buying clothes online. So basically, there are 5 main steps in the process. First, you need to find the materials. Then you want to order the sample to touch to see whether you actually like the fabric. All the way to, okay, it's not working. Okay. Okay, all the way to making sure your orders are delivered on time. So this process typically takes you 6 months of traveling, of data connection, of back and forth communication with the supplier. On Satori, we actually digitize and centralize every step in the process so that the sourcing is not only faster, but also cheaper and more transparent for both the seller and the buyer.
So I think, as Tan was saying, this is like a highly fragmented, linear industry. And our vision is first just to kind of get fashion labels able to buy their fabrics. But over time, what we want to see is labels being able to control and have full visibility into every step in their supply chain. And not only that, or we're still on the wrong slide, just like fabrics need to buy, fashion labels need to buy fabrics, fabric producers need to buy yarn, yarn needs to buy thread. And this all goes back to being able to monitor the raw materials that our clothes are made of. And this is actually just not even like an option not to do this. A new wave of regulations coming online means that fashion labels need to have full visibility into every part of their supply chain.
Okay, the technology is not on our side today. So we are live with the first seller and buyer on the platform across different countries in Asia and Europe. So the next step for us is to build critical mass on both sides of the marketplace through not only the hero product feature, but also from a commercial channel point of view as well. So how we're gonna do it? One of the insights that we got from many years of doing marketing for some of the biggest companies globally is the most successful campaigns actually tend to be based on a ranking or a list. For example, we all heard about like Fortune 100 or Fortune 500. So what we're doing at Satori right now is actually launching a hero marketing campaign to onboard the top 100 seller and also the top 20 textile nations around the world.
And to help us do this, we have, laptop.
Okay.
Yeah, to help us do this, we have 6 sales ambassadors with really deep connections to the industry to help us unlock these doors. And we have an ask. We're fundraising from angel investors, so if you know anyone who we should speak to, please connect them with us. You can email us at founders@satori.earth.
Thank you.
Or come speak to us on the side.
Thank you very much, Dan and Joseph. Okay, we will move on with the next team. So the next startup is Saturnic, and the face or the person behind Saturnic is Mitra. And it's honestly so inspiring to see. Mitra is the solo founder in our program and has a very academia background. So seeing the journey from being a scientist to an entrepreneur is really, really cool and really inspiring. And I would welcome on stage Mitra.
Thank you very much. I just jumped to the presentation. Welcome to Saturnic. It's not working, sorry. Yeah, you might seen many times in the nature small plastic particles everywhere in a colorful, nice images. These are called microplastic. Microplastics are small, but really have a major problem. They are already found their way in our food chain, in their water supply system, in the wastewater outflow, in our bottled water. And unfortunately, they have a very adverse impact in our health, in our children's health, in our living organism in the ecosystem. We have a lot of microplastic per day, and if we want to give you an assumption of how much, it could be about 4 credit cards per month. But what we done as an academia or as a Saturnic, as a scientist background. Yeah, we design a fascinating technology that can separate microplastics. Over 90% efficiency, which is globally is #1 right now. And the maybe interesting things about this technology is that it doesn't use any chemicals. It's a physical and mechanical procedure. And it's consume less energy from the all devices so far that are present in the market. But what brings us right now to this position, to bring this technology to the market? Because the law is coming, yes, for the industries. There is an increase in the population that you all know about the increase of the population and the need for the clean water. Also, the increase in the production of plastic about 4% each year. And the people expectation, people like you expected the clean water. And that's why we are jump into the market and do something about that. Yeah. So we design a device in a suitable modular situation that can be settled in your industry. So as a in any part of your industry, and then the outlet from this technology and then device would be go to the wastewater treatment system, goes to the surface waters, or you can use it in the drinking water supply system. We had a very long roadmap, and we started in 2017. So far, we filed several patents. About 3 patents so far is filed, and one another in the way. And we expected to go for a partnership with the industries that are curious and worry about this problem, and they want to do something about that. So this is a message, of course, for our industrial partner, and we hope they like to join us and join for this competition, for this fight against this pollution, and help us to bring this technology to the environment very soon. And this is, thank you. This is me. I am Nikbe. I have a background as a doctorate of engineering in the environmental and infrastructure of urban area. And my colleagues Sam and Saina are working with the AI technology and legal part related to our work. And thank you very much, really.
Thank you very much, Mitra. And we will move on to our next startup, which is Repair Circle. And I'm very happy to have Mohan here today, because this team is really very hardworking, like the 6 months, giving everything and doing that, not only working hard, but also being so well connected in the, not even Impact Hub community, but you can really feel like these people believe in connection, and it makes me really happy to welcome Mohan today. Welcome on stage. But before I give you the microphone, I have a question to the audience, actually. So I would like you to raise your hand if you know at least one shop in which you can buy a new laptop, mobile phone, electronic device, whatever it is. I'm pretty sure I can see a lot of hands, right? Yeah, yes. So Mohan, I will give it to you now.
All right, so thank you for the introduction, Sarah, and hello everyone, good evening. That sounds to be a lame question, right? Like, where do you buy a smartphone, laptop? Like, you could see so many of you raised your hands, but now, do you actually know exactly where you want to go when your laptop or smartphone is broken? Please raise your hand if you know where exactly you want to go. I see 1, 2, 3. Yeah, there's a stark difference between the two, right? So this is exactly the problem we're having. So it's quite evident that buying new things is actually way more cheaper than actually repairing stuff. So that is the problem that I'm going to address today. And we all know that we live in a world which is very linear. And we take a lot of resources from one side, and we also, discard a lot of waste on the other side. This leads to a lot of e-waste accumulation. And we can actually slow this process down. How? By introducing repair and reuse into the cycle. So by introducing these two, we can prolong the lifetime of devices. But by the little experiment that we did today, we could understand that repair is not more convenient. But it used to be a norm. When I grew up in India, I remember repair used to be my first intuition. It's so accessible, it's way cheaper, and always go to repair shop when I broke something. But now, as it became an hassle, so we surveyed about 100 people in and around Berlin and asked about what are the frustrations when it comes to repair. And most of the people told us they don't really trust the repair shops, and it's very time consuming and difficult to find repair options. And that's why we present you Repair Circle. We connect you to local repair shops, trusted repair shops, so you can actually compare your repair options. And we also offer pickup and delivery services. So you can focus on the things that you love, and we can make some informed decisions as well, and we want to keep the repair focus locally. And wondering if you are, what are the things that, that you can get repaired from us. We are primarily focusing on the small devices or small electronics right now. So anything ranges from smartphone, laptops, tablets, reader, or your hair dryer. So you can get fixed from us. And this is how the process looks like. So you go to our website, select what you want to repair, and then describe the issue. And we will give you not just 1, 2, but at least 3 options. So you can compare your price, guarantee, turnaround time, reviews, all in one place. So once you can select one of these options, we come to your place, to the door, pick up your service. Yeah, that's me. And these are our repair service providers. We take it to the repair shops, and they are Hussein and Mai. They specifically wanted to mention their names here as well. And we then fix your device in no time. And here we present you few of our happy customers. And yeah, some of our here. They fixed the Kindle, smartphones, hard dryer in a day's time. And if you want, if you have something that you want to repair, then here is your time. You just have to scan the code, and if you, and then we can fix it in no time. So I leave it here for 30 seconds. And just before that, this is Nikki, my co-founder. We have been doing this for 6 months now. We are very passionate about bringing back the repair culture. We want to make repair more convenient as it is buying new. Again, here I leave the scan, and you can bring those devices to life again. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Mohan. And yeah, what I didn't tell you actually is that Repair Circle is a team that met in our hackathon that we did last year. And the next team, Simpella, is also a team that met in the hackathon or formed in the hackathon last year. So they really started from 0 to 100, which is really cool to see, like how invested in such a short time you can be. And to be honest, I have actually never met anyone who is so passionate about bathroom plumbings. So welcome on stage, Quasi.
Thank you, Sarah. Hi, everyone. Okay, so let's see. So, hi, my name is Quasi Safu Ayobi. I'm actually leading Simpler Innovations, and together with Martin, we kind of represent Simpler. And what we're trying to do basically is trying to give second life to water that we actually use in the home. And we want to do this with a smart device we call Smart Sink. So our mission with Smart Sink is actually to reach SDG Goal 6 and subsequently meet other SDGs in our objectives. So basically what we're trying to do is trying to make every water count. So then we can impact on the ecosystem and basically help to expand to locations where really needed. So, So what's the problem we're trying to solve at the moment? So basically, millions of people around the world, we all know, lack access to water. And it's been said timelessly that 1 out of 3 basically lack globally. But the situation used to be business as usual. Even in Europe, basically nobody really cared about water because it's like swimming in water, bathtubs and all that stuff. But scientific data is actually proving right now that the vegetation that we have in Europe is actually going off. It's actually really lacking water. And it means that we need to take action now. But how do we take action without compromising on our convenience? So what we try to do is to basically start by ensuring that people use a device that fits underneath their sink, and with that, they'll be able to extract the water that they use in their showers to be able to reuse it in miniature, basically in miniature purposes, basically. So like, for instance, flashing of your toilet or filtering to actually get to use to plant your stuff. So we believe that by doing that, we'll be able to actually bridge the infrastructure gap in the ecosystem and also provide access to places where it's actually really needed. So our value proposition, we really don't want to talk about that. And model, we don't want to talk about that. So basically, just a nutshell, we're trying to save you, save everyone, trying to take action to ensure that we actually reuse water again in the least possible way, so then we can actually improve on or reduce the number of tap water that we use in our homes, so then we can actually help others who are actually in need of the water, and not really compromising on our convenience and compromising on our bathroom styles and bathing styles. I'm not saying everybody should stop bathing. Basically, you still can do it, but we need to use that water again, and that's what we represent. And so basically, we want everybody to join us when we bring the product out. Basically, we want to install at the Impact Hub, so we're going to call on everyone. If you haven't, you can find me on LinkedIn, or you can actually write to us, and then we will put you on the list for you to actually view the product in action. And if you catch me on the back later, I can actually show you how it looks like. It's actually in my bag, so we can actually do that. And thank you, everyone, for coming.
Thank you, Kwasi. Thank you very much. Okay, so the next team, I'm very happy to introduce you to Yuli, because Yuli is doing something different than the other teams, because this project is not tackling one specific problem, but they are rather creating awareness about problems. And this is all done with the academia background. So I'm pretty happy to introduce you to Yuli. Welcome on stage. We'll talk about urban heat studios.
Imagine it's 40 degrees outside. It's been like this for a week, and this is the third time this year, and it's only May. Even in a fully circular, low-carbon economy, we will have to face a hotter world with more extreme weather events. Extreme heat in particular is the most deadly effect of the climate crisis worldwide, also in European cities like Athens and London, and also here in Berlin. At the same time, it remains very underestimated and underaddressed. The reason why we give attention to certain issues and certain solutions more than others has to do with the stories that we tell ourselves of ourselves, our communities, the organizations that we're part of, our futures. And these images, those images of a future, are the things that shape how we act today. So in a radically changed world, we'll also need to find new stories to tell ourselves. We are Urban Heat Studio. We are a collective for transformative climate adaptation and imagination, and we gather people together to break those time barriers between climate impacts tomorrow and the structures and injustices today. We design immersive experiences where people get to explore future climate scenarios. They get to process sometimes uncomfortable emotions that come up when this happens and build new stories together for radical action. We host an annual Refuturing conference, a half-real, half-fictional gathering for people from the climate adaptation space and creatives, where people come together to explore an immersive climate scenario and build new stories that help them make sense of what happens when a city radically adapts to extreme heat, and understand better, make sense of the transformations needed to create more resilient European cities. We also do interventions out in the wild, so those immersive experiences out in the wild, like this health campaign, a speculative health campaigning, warning people about extreme heat, telling them to go find a cooling center nearby, or put up a pop-up cooling tent ourselves, where people get to retreat on a particularly hot day and get some rest from the heat. We also do custom futures and exploration projects where you get to explore your own uncertainties that may arise from the climate crisis. To further share our imagination practice, we offer a toolkit where you get to host your own immersive climate experiences in your organizations. We deliver dispatches from the future, so short stories from future scenarios directly into your feeds or your inboxes. And we also run the Climate Fiction Book Club, so a book club where we read everything related to climate and ecosystems as long as it's fictional. Since 2020, we have immersed communities like Berlin-based policymakers, local creatives, Danish sustainability consultants, and global social innovators. And sometimes the city itself is the client, and we get the right resources and the people to make things happen. This is me, Julie, and Francesca. We have been working in the climate, innovation, and change space for the last 11 years across places like MIT, Copenhagen Institute for Interaction Design, and the Urban Heat Studio. Come join us, explore immersive climate scenarios to help make sense of uncertainties, and host an immersive climate experience for your team. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Julie. And before we jump into the break, we have the last team pitching now. So Real Side, the last team that is pitching, is a very high-performance team, I would say. Like, they did really a lot. They have such a good background in also real estate and, you know, doing that much. But during all the time, in 6 months, I never saw them stressed. They were all so calm and so like, we got this. And for me as a project manager, it's also super important to keep track, of course, of the pilots, like to have an overview what the teams are doing, but here it was not possible. It was like one after another, so it's really impressive. And I would welcome on stage now Andrea.
This one? And then I will, okay. Thank you. Oh, no. All right, so 27%. You might wonder about this number. So 27% is actually the percentage of total greenhouse gas emissions that come from building operations. So buildings like these, actually most buildings are much, much worse because this is a great circular building, but just imagine how we could lower this number. So over the last 12 years, what I did with my life is I worked for large corporates. So I worked for CBRE, Pfizer, Sodexo, and these companies have a value of over $700 billion. And I managed real estate in several countries, and for the value of, I had a budget responsibility of over 20 million euros. And I figured that there's something wrong with the way that they manage real estate. They occupy a lot of space, and what they have to do is maximize shareholder value. So maybe there's a way to manage real estate better. And that's why we came up with the idea of Real Side. So the way to convince corporates to do this better is to find a solution that appeals to them. And we believe what appeals to them is not only to become more sustainable, but find ways to be more cost efficient and using data to convince them of paths to be more sustainable and more cost efficient. When we interviewed 70 corporate real estate decision makers, and we found out that they have difficulties finding the right data about their corporate real estate portfolio, and they're lacking the right tools to make decisions. And at the moment, they're working together with consultants who are looking at buildings and charging up to 20,000 euros to come up with short-sighted plans. And at the end of the day, at the moment, there is nothing long-term that corporates have. So here we came up with Real Side. And Real Side is an AI platform that takes data from the documents of companies. These can be contracts, company documents, invoices, maintenance papers, and extracts this information and plots it in easily understandable ways to stakeholders, and also figures pathways for companies to become more sustainable and more cost efficient. So here you can see that we collect information, we use real-time analysis, and our AI algorithms are looking at the data, identifying outliers, and forecasting as well the future possible scenarios. And it's 45 times faster than how companies are currently solving this problem, and also allows them to plan for the future. So with regards to our sustainability impact, we are able to highlight to companies where they're using too much energy and where they have the possibility to take action, which specific buildings. We also have the opportunity to highlight the assets that they're using. Are they maintaining them correctly or not? And whether there are options to prolong the asset life cycle. So here I would like to invite you to continue following our journey. So if you scan this QR code, then you can join our LinkedIn page and hear more about us, as we will soon be releasing the first version of our software. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Andrea. So yes, as said, we made it through the first part. We will have a 10-minute break now. You can grab a drink, stretch, go into the sun if you want to. You can also do it if you're at home, but we will see each other in 10 minutes. And yeah, happy to see you in a sec.
Years ago, we had an idea. We want to take this a step further. So we applied for this incubator, which is organized by and based in the Impact Hub in Berlin. It's called Circular Together, and it opened up so many opportunities and possibilities for us. So the Impact Hub community is special or different because it's very easy to talk to people and get in contact and exchange ideas. We're a zebra family or a zebra community. We help each other, we support each other, we exchange, and because we all have this greater goal in mind, which is to create more impact value. So the feeling that you get when you're here is actually that you're not facing things alone, but you're facing things together, which is the ultimate motivator to do things and to create more value together.
All right, hey, thanks a lot. I was hoping the video would do that job already, but okay. Welcome back. Now I have the honor to present the next 6 teams that will pitch. You already saw me earlier on the slides. I'm Julian. I'm happy to mingle and talk to you also later afterwards. And yeah, so basically, as Harsha said earlier, I'm the head coach of the program. So basically, if you like the pitches of the people, that's because they really are great people and do nice pitches. If you don't, or if there's something that is not too smooth, it's probably because I confused them last minute with feedback yesterday. So that's on me then. And I'm very happy to present the next team, which is Dry and Spare. And it's also cool because it's the first actual prototype that we will see here now. And yeah, apparently after a lot of pitches, people remember them as the flies and garbage people. But please don't, because they are really not the garbage people. I mean, yes, they do something in that field, but they really do a super nice job, a super great job. They managed, besides all the stuff that we pushed them through on the business model innovation, to actually continue working on their prototype, and that's great. So I'm happy to welcome on stage Monisha and Jagadish.
Hi, so we are Dry and Spare, and we are the founders of Dry and Spare. So who here would disagree to the fact that one of the most essential detail for the survival of living kind depends on fertile soil? And one such nearly underlooked crisis is the degradation of soil. If we all have in mind that the survival of humankind depends on a thin layer of soil, I think we'll all put some effort to restore it. And one such way to do it is making compost. And the first and foremost step for that to happen is to segregate the food waste at home, which we have already been doing with the biobins at home. But the usual biobins have flies and foul smell and unhygienic situation. And also, the decomposition starts immediately after the disposal, which means by the time it reaches your community bin or your compost, you miss out on a lot of nutrients that are needed to nourish or close the nutrient cycle. So, like I said, our primary problem was flies and foul smell, which, let's say, became demotivator for people who actually wanted to separate them but didn't want to go through all that messy situation. And also, these flies and food waste, the decaying, became the primary source of diseases for people who are handling them on an everyday basis as a job. Coming from a hot tropical country myself, I'm still not used to this European weather where I'll have to wear layers and layers of jacket every other alternative day to throw just my food waste, because all the other waste I can throw it once in 15 days or 30 days, right? And because the decomposition starts immediately after you throw your food waste, we miss out on a lot of nutrients that could be very much necessary to nourish the soil. So we are two passionate engineers who come from a tropical country and which has faced a lot of these issues and even a lot more. So we started noticing these decomposition patterns and noticed that the main solution would be dehydration at source. And that's how we came up with Dry and Spare. So Dry and Spare is a small low-tech system. It's a biobin. It looks like a normal bin, but has a secret little trick under its skin. So why now? Because why not? We are already a million steps behind with the environmental destruction. And with the current energy and financial crisis, everyone needs a solution that is at a low cost, that is effective, also comes in a long run without multiple installments. So dry and spare is a dehydration system. It uses heating and ventilation system, passes hot air, and it dehydrates your food waste. So you can handle it without having to put a paper cover, or you can just take it and put it in your bins. Like after it's dry, you can handle it with your hand, and you can throw it out once in 15 days or 20 days, or even make a compost out of it, which will be nutrient rich. So yeah, so myself, Monisha Nadurai, I play multiple roles in business model management, project management, and marketing in several projects and firms. And this is my partner, Jagdish Painini. He's a mechanical engineer and a waste management expert with multiple projects under his sleeve. So together, we are environment enthusiasts who feel that in this era, it's not only possible to store food for a long time, but also nutrient-rich food waste. Thank you so much. Feel free to reach us over email or after the end at the back. We would love to connect with you. Thank you.
Amazing. There's the clicker. I don't know. Let's see. Okay, I hope that works a little bit better. Otherwise, maybe one of you needs to click. Otherwise, I will click for you, no worries. Maybe someone can check for some new batteries in the meantime? Or it's just me? All right. Or are we using the other one in the meantime? All right, it was me. Nice. Sorry for that. Okay. All right, I'm very happy to bring on the stage the next team, which is Qubit Kids, and something to say about them. I'm coming from a business background, so I always have that strong urge of bringing numbers into something and just like these straightforward thoughts. And it was super nice to work with them over the last 6 months because they really brought a design thinking approach and like, yeah, just design into everything that we are doing in this incubation program. And therefore also really made other teams benefit from that. And I really appreciate that, and I really appreciate that they're not afraid to just go out and yeah, build their product and show it to the people and present it. And it's actually something that is solving a huge problem for myself, but then even way more, and they will tell you. But yeah, personally, I love peanut butter, and I always have a shit ton of these glass jars back home, and I'm like, it's a shame to throw them away. So yeah, they solve a small problem for me, but then also way more. You will see about that now. And I'm happy to call on stage Lena. I hope that works.
Hello, everybody. So we are Qubit Kids, and we are contribute to a healthier future society. People spend a lot of time at work, and it's draining a lot, mentally and physically. It's a fast-paced life. And the problem after the pandemic at the workplaces, that was the great resignation. Everybody wanted to quit and change the jobs immediately. The numbers are just shocking. Yeah. Oh, sorry. 75% of the employees just experienced mental health diseases. And that's why our solution is a recharging room concept. This is a wellness microdosing, and we have developed the charging rooms to create safe stress zones and meditative spots with working spaces. Here you can how it looks like. We're offering B2B personalized health-giving products experience with restorative interior kit, immersive spaces designed to feel more resilient, productive and empowered in workspaces, social venues, and more, where the stress level is high. What are the benefits for the employees? Reduce stress and anxiety, increase productivity, improve the mood and the concentration. What is the benefits for the employees? Increase engagement and retention, attract new talent and keep them. Business grow and brand building with social responsibility also. This is how we do it. This is GLAD. What we have, the recycled plastic 3D printed jar adapter. This is development. We can build storage systems and green panels. The limit is your creativity. And now? Our circular method explores new aesthetic for focusing attention on existing waste materials. Also, we are creating the GLAD adapters from recycled materials and using the modularity and an efficient material use and the biophilic design principles. The interior kit can combine with living plants, sounds, smoothing lights to serve better corporate wellness through immersive restorative spaces. We can help you unlock your employees' potential with proven mental health boosters. What's our income streams? Design service for the GLAD green panel system and the recharging rooms. Workshops, we develop 3 types for business, zero waste, retail, and schools. Also, the sales for GLAD adapter and lease for the GLAD kit is possible for the companies. We are also available for the consultancy or corporate wellness and the upcycling methods. What's our future roadmap? We set up in June the first GLAD kit in Impact Hub Berlin. Our team, partner in crime, Diana Salgado, and me, who are very interested in innovation situations. Let's collaborate and make the world a healthier place. Do you want to take part in the wellness microdosing revolution?
Thanks a lot for the pitch. It was amazing. And yeah, next up we have Square the Circle. Something to say about that team. It's they come from academia, very, very strong academic background, but basically from day one, they were able to switch that hat from the academia to basically being entrepreneurs. And that's something that is not easy to do, as seen in a lot of teams. And also here, it is very nice to see that they are not afraid to just take on the conversation with the customer, which a lot of startups are usually afraid of. And I'm happy that you did that, and you have a lot of success to show already. Welcome on stage, Anna.
Thanks for the introduction. So, hello everyone. I'm Anna. I'm the co-founder of Square the Circle. And at Square the Circle, we want every company to be able to identify what their role in a circular economy is and how to execute it. Why? So our startup is composed by 2 co-founders, me and my co-founder Lucas, and as Julian has mentioned, we spent 4 years researching how companies could implement circularity, and we were frustrated that the speed of integration of circularity principles in industries was so slow. So we say, okay, let's try change that. So to provide a bit more context, it has been recently estimated that up to 60% of circular economy pilots end up in just plans or pilots, so they're really never scaled up. There are different reasons for why this is like this. The first reason is there's a lack of a clear strategy. So whenever a product planner or a sustainability manager wants to start a circular economy pilot, they also face lots of resistance from middle managers. The KPIs are not aligned. They don't really understand the new tasks. And this creates a bit of a deadlock for them. Second, there's also technological barriers, and basically companies have been designed to operate linearly. So it's very expensive and very time consuming for them to now operate in a circular way. And finally, there are also ecosystem limitations. So when companies want to put out products that are circular to the market, they struggle in knowing what the clients want or what, for instance, sustainable suppliers can get. So, thank you. But why the circular pilots will need to be scaled up eventually? So there are different drivers. First of all is climate change. So companies will have to secure their own resources in the future, which will only become more scarce. There's also technological advancement, meaning processes are becoming automated and scalability is becoming easier. There's also a policy landscape change, and circular economy is becoming a finance tool, so it's easier to create business case around this. And finally, there's also workforce change. So millennials will now access will be the main segment in the workforce, and they really care about social and environmentally purposeful companies. So companies will have to get serious. Thanks. So what are we offering at the moment? We have two main business branches. One fits more into a consulting business model, and the second one fits more into software as a service business model. Next slide, please. So in the consulting, we have identified through our research the 47 key building blocks that are needed in order to compose any kind of circular economy pilot. Circular economy pilots often get very complex very quickly, but we don't want product planners to have this stop product planners taking action. So basically we can quickly allow them to configure a pilot and learn while they're implementing it. The second product, as I said, is a software as a service, which we have been developing. So we collected information of circular economy products that are in the market, and we identified what key building blocks are part of their value proposition, basically. So with our software, we can really recommend product planners what building blocks are more suitable, what are the weak spots of their strategy, how it can be improved in order to improve scalability. Last, we want to add quantitative layer here, because at the moment this provides qualitative feedback, but we really want to turn this platform into a tool that allows to track real-time environmental, social, and economic performance in order to inform scalability decisions. So that's what's next for us. Thank you. Before the program, we worked with two multinational enterprises, and we tried our consulting approach. During the program, we've worked with one innovation agency, and we have co-developed a simpler tool that mimics a bit the user journeys that we want our final tool to be able to conduct. And this prototype was made available to the customer base of this innovation hub, and within the first 4 weeks, there were 80 users using it. So we're learning a lot. And so what's coming next for us is, so as I said, we've done some customer discovery for the software as a service business model. And now we want to really integrate all this knowledge into a last prototype that we want to present to climate tech companies. And we're seeking out for opportunities for partnership, collaboration, etc. And second, we're also found that consulting is a great way of knowing your customer and what their pain points are. So we're also looking forward to continue with our consulting services second half of 2023. So yeah, thanks a lot. We're interested in exchanging expertise, networking opportunities, partnerships, resources. Feel free to reach us. We're looking forward to talking to you, and let's square the circle together.
Nice, thanks a lot. Okay. Where's Mohan from Repair? We have a job for you later because this is really... So no go. All right. Next up we have Cardino. Cardino is it's always a funny story for me because basically when they pitched and they came into the program, I was like, okay, clear problem, clear solution, all good, and basically they found out so many more problems, and the nice thing is they were not attached to any of their thoughts, but they were really always open to rethink, re-innovate, and so on. And yeah, when you talk to them, I can really recommend doing that later. They have a lot of very fun stories to tell about that market that they are in, something that you wouldn't expect. And I'm happy to have Henrik here. I have no clue what you will tell us, but the stage is yours.
Thanks, Julia. Thanks, Julian, and let me try out whether this clicker works, because this seems to be not the presenting, but the, you know, we do the human clicker way better. I will do that. No, thank you so much for having us. Super keen to present what we are doing. So we're Cardino. We have been working on this for sort of a year in the small team, and then the team has sort of slightly grown bigger over the last few months as we've really rolled out our solution. We are working on a problem which most of you probably haven't looked at before, which is the problem around used electric cars, right? So electric cars, everyone knows they're coming, right? You can see them more and more on our streets, and I think last year the numbers were about 25% of new cars were electric, or at least had some electric components. But obviously the used car market for electric cars is still a few years away. However, the problems that will bring are real, and we're out there to solve them. So let's start with some super simple numbers. I always like to bring some bubbles. Can we go one more? Yeah, some bubbles. It's actually already huge. So last year there were 4 billion euros in Germany alone in used electric vehicle trades, and if you think about, you know, obviously how that's going to grow, that's going to explode as electric cars take over our streets. And there's a lot of startups talking about, you know, recycling of electric vehicle batteries and all this kind of stuff. And we say, yeah, super important in 20 years' time. What we want to do is, until then, we want to make sure that these cars stay on our roads as long as possible, and find, if someone doesn't want to use them anymore, find a new home somewhere else, and basically get traded between people before we start thinking about second use of those batteries in those vehicles, and also then recycling at the final stage. If you think about used cars today, right, where they get traded, where, you know, you can buy a new one, or where you can get rid of your old one, where does this happen, right? There's 1,000 car dealers alone in Berlin, and I would say 90% of those do some sort of used car trading. Now let's ask the question again, where do electric used cars get traded? And the super non-surprising answer is, otherwise we wouldn't be standing here, it's not at those car dealers, right? There's, apart from some branded ones, you know, an Audi dealer will trade a used electric Audi, of course, right? But from all the independent ones, literally zero in Berlin at the moment trade used electric cars. There's a few ones scattered around Germany, Cologne, Munich, all those areas. Berlin, literally zero. And the reason for that is all of this stuff happens online, used electric car trading online. And the next question then I ask you is, you know, where do you think people trade their electric cars? And the answer, probably also non-surprising to you, but crazy to us, right, is eBay, eBay Kleinanzeigen, right? That's where people trade electric cars. And we looked at that and we're like, this is crazy, right? If you remember your last experience, you know, like mine, I traded my kitchen table on eBay Kleinanzeigen, 20 messages, all the people that try to haggle you down, and the guy, you know, I agreed with, he was late a day, and then he came and he tried to put the table in his car, and the car was too small and I had to carry it back, right? everyone has these eBay Kleinanzeigen stories, right? And we said, hey, this cannot be the way that electric cars are traded, right? Because this is completely outside of any regular processes that you should have for these cars. You should inspect them, you should figure out how good are they, what's their actual value, and you should make it easy for people to basically have a safe transaction in this process, because trading electric cars, unfortunately, is not quite as easy as trading a kitchen table for 50 euros, and even that is hard on eBay Kleinanzeigen, let me tell you. So what we built is we built a two-sided marketplace, if we could go one further, that solves exactly this problem, right? So for sellers, we make it super easy to first of all figure out, hey, how good is my car still, right? Like, how good is the battery? How far can I go with this car? We have built a solution that lets you basically figure that out in one click. And then we make it super easy for you to trade your car and not not doing it on eBay Kleinanzeigen where stuff takes 2 months and you get loads of spam messages, but actually through a safe and secure process where both parties are verified. And at the same time, we're solving a huge problem for the car industry, right? So if you think about the car dealers that are actually trying electric cars, they want to buy some cars from Berlin, but they're not in Berlin. They're in Cologne, or they're in France, actually, at the moment. That's where lots of used electric cars are being bought, or Denmark as well. So how do we make a European connected network of the people that want to buy, connect them to the people that want to sell? That's the simple but pretty hard problem, as Julian said, solution or problem that we're trying to solve and build a platform for. If we go one further, we've built a bunch of technological innovation around this already, and we have plans for a lot more. We basically want to be the players in the market that understand your electric car way better than you can. And the cool thing is, this is now possible because of the data that's in the car and because of the ways we can access that data in your car, right? So, basically back in the day, we didn't even know if you told me your car had 20,000 kilometers or 100,000 kilometers driven, there's no way I can verify that. Today, I can, with one click, log into your car if you give me permission, right? GDPR and everything. But if you give us permission, we can do that. And we can basically ask the manufacturer, how far has your car driven, right? And we can verify all these things around battery. And we're building basically a workflow tool plus a bunch of inspection and verification solutions. We're live, so if you have electric cars that you would like to trade with us, check us out, Cardino.de. Also, if you find some on the street, actually use our app, see if our fraud process catches you if you want to sell us a miles car. I'd be happy to get your feedback on that. We should be finding those. Probably we're not at some point, so let's test this out. But yeah, live since, soft launch in sort of January, February, the proper platform about a month ago. We had over 1,000 people now trying to sell their car with us. We didn't transact nearly all of them. So we've done about 100 now. We've got about a dealer network of about 50 players now that are working with us, trying to get into the bigger players, right? So we're talking to Audi, for example. Not successful so far. So if you know anyone in the bigger car industry that would love to work with a startup, would love to hear from you. But otherwise, go sell us your car. Try us out. Thank you.
All right, thanks a lot, Hendrik. And you actually gave the perfect introduction already for the next team, because you said even selling a table on eBay Kleinanzeigen is not that easy. And I really felt that I was moving a lot around in Berlin. Probably like sometimes you just get a sub-rental and a sub-rental and a sub-rental. That's unfortunately the pain here. And yeah, Merle and Antonia basically make that a lot easier for you. And I love that they are super hands-on, basically driving around Berlin and picking up the table for you, dealing with everything, not only table, couch, and so on. And yeah, basically saying bye-bye to eBay Kleinanzeigen and saying hi to something way better. I'm happy to hear more about that.
Hi everyone, and thank you for joining us today. We are Antonia and Merle, the founders of Move It Together, the first user-friendly second-hand furniture marketplace. So our story began in a similar way. Both as students without cars, we had little opportunity to make our living space more sustainable. And even today, there's no solution for everyone. So in our market research, we asked people on their thoughts of buying and selling second-hand furniture. and why they don't use current solutions. And most of them mentioned that the process right now is too complicated due to communication, transportation, and also security concerns. And the issue of frustration and also the lack of accessibility leads us to the main problem, that is that 90% of furniture waste is incinerated or landfilled. Yeah, the solution. So to address this issue, we launched an accessible online platform for consumers and businesses to resell furniture and buy second-hand furniture. And we want to design Move It Together to be easy to use and user-friendly to attract more buyers and sellers. And in the end, we are hoping to reduce the furniture waste in landfills up to 30%. So we divided our value proposition into two parts, C2C and B2B. We already launched our first MVP, and we have a marketplace interface for the C2C part. And for the B2B part, we are working with different local businesses, and we are also furnishing offices and restaurants and cafes. So here you can see our market. As you can see, the second-hand market is expected to grow 127% by 2026. And we also can see the second-hand boom in all the different sectors.
Okay, so how do we actually want to enter this market? We first set up our social media pages, and this was also highly successful for us. So feel free to follow us on social media as well. Yeah, we can really see the topics of sustainable interior and DIY trending right now. And as a next step, we're planning to roll out a larger marketing campaign, emphasizing online marketing strategies, but also, for example, hosting some educational workshops where we will invite some of the experts on our platform to educate potential users about sustainable furnishings. And next to all of that, we're also, of course, working on the development of our mobile application. Yes, perfect. So let's talk some financials. Yeah, here you can see that we are charging different fees depending on the customer on our platform. And now we want to proudly present to you what we've reached so far. So since launching our MVP mid-February, we managed to attract over 250 C2C users, gain over 2,500 euros in revenue, and onboard our first 5 local partners and our first 4 major B2B deals. And through all of this, we managed to already save over 3,000 kilograms of furniture waste. Yeah, so here you can see the amazing team behind Move It Together. My co-founder Merle, she's the creative part of our team, and she's focused on marketing and branding. And I myself studied entrepreneurship in the Netherlands, and my expertise is in the fields of operations and product. And our team is complemented by 3 amazing advisors. And now we're asking you to join our movement. And if you're looking to sell or buy some furniture, feel free to scan the QR code. And yeah, we'll be happy to get in touch.
All right, anyone else wants to scan that? Okay. Okay, nice. Yeah, now we basically have someone that is kept running around and pitching all the time, so you should be very fit on that. And yeah, a quick story about the next team. So that's a super nice example of how customer discovery process can actually really push your revenues. So Richard, who is over there, and me, we were basically bugging all the teams by like, yeah, go out, talk to your customers. And I think some of you were a little bit annoyed at some point by us. But Nishit is a very nice example who did that, went out and had huge success by basically, yeah, finding first pilot customers. And yeah, the last 2 months, I think you were just running around and bringing in one term sheet after the other and something. So yeah, we're super happy to hear how you actually did that. What's the idea behind that? Stage is yours.
Hi, my name is Nishit. I'm one of the co-founders of Scone Labs. We are a B2B food tech startup and try to reduce food wastage with smart sensors and AI. 1.6 trillion kilograms of food is wasted every year. That's a huge amount. This translates to 10% of greenhouse gases. And EU recognized this as an issue and they want to reduce food wastage by 50% until 2030. But how they're going to do that, this they do not really know. 40% of the food wastage is actually caused by bulk handlers along the supply chain. And the reason is manual identification is faulty. Further on, there is no real data about food. So whether the food is ripening, whether the food is good or bad, it's just visual identification. To solve this issue, we have a twofold approach. We have an octagon. It's a smart device. It has multiple sensors, such as gas sensor, temperature sensor, humidity sensor, and location sensors. Plus, we track unpacked food, such as vegetables, fruits, milk, and cheese. We give an accuracy of 95%. This data is sent to a cloud application, and actionable insights will be generated, so the user gets some insights how to protect the food. The application areas are quite diverse. So we have shipping companies, logistic companies, retail stores, distribution centers, but they have one thing in common, and that's a storage facility. How it looks like in a storage facility is as follows. There is Hans Günther, who goes to a storage facility, looks at the batch. If an apple or a pallet is rotten, in case of a doubt, they throw the entire pallet away. And this is actually a huge, huge amount. And why the food is actually going bad, there are three options. The controller makes a mistake, so Hans Günther makes a mistake. Secondly, the ripple down effect. If one batch is bad, it affects the other batches. Or the third one is the infrastructure. If the temperature, humidity is faulty, then the batch also goes bad. Our solution is pretty straightforward. You take an octagon, stick it to the wall in the pallet. It sends data to a cloud application and gives suggestions. So we have three solutions. We monitor and alert the user as soon as the humidity or the temperature changes. We spot differences in actually fruits, vegetables, and thirdly, we give actually tailored actionable insights. Why should a customer use our solution? Actually, we reduce time, plus we save cost, and the third one is the most important one. We actually increase also the reputation. Do you know Lidl actually always says, hey, we have the best fruits and vegetables? This is actually a nice side gig of our project. Our pilot strategy is pretty straightforward. We will give actually 2 octagons for free. They will install it. If they see an impact, that's great. And they can pitch this entire idea to their entire supply chain, because the entire supply chain has a storage facility and they have to store food somewhere, and we just add it and they can actually start monitoring it. Of course, we are not the only one in this field, but we are the only one who are doing it for unpacked food. They're doing for cartons, milk, yogurt, but they are all packed. It's not like in bulk. We are the only one who are doing it in bulk, plus we are going to actually patent our solution so nobody can steal it. The last piece of the puzzle is an amazing team. Unfortunately, I'm the only one who does not have a PhD. So my co-founder, Rakibul, he was actually building rocket parts. He got bored, so he started 2 restaurants. Sid was in research regarding material science and nanotechnology. He's the hardware and software dude. I'm the business dude, so therefore no PhD, unfortunately. But I go to the customers and actually talk to them and try to engage as much as possible. And if you want to be a part of actually Scone Labs, send me a message, actually follow us on Instagram, and a big thank you to the Impact Hub team.
Such a smooth talker. All right, we made it. 12 fast-paced pitches, and we are towards the end. Can we just give them one big round of applause once again? We are extremely proud of each and every one of you, and wherever you've gone, we love to be your ambassadors. And that's just a testament to how amazing we really, really do feel you are. And at this point, I feel like we are very much close to the end. All I would love to do is maybe quickly call the Impact Hub CT team to the stage, so we can also just quickly give them a round of applause for everything they have done to make this happen. Sarah, Julian, Edel, Diego, Amira.
maybe can you make us a photo also from there? Just watch us be clicked. Just watch us be clicked. And now, all the participants, join us. Don't you dare stand in the front. Sure. I don't know how to. Absolutely. Are you able to get us all? Don't fall. And we're not done. We're not done. I work in layers. I would also like the coaches and the alumni, if you're here. I can see a couple of them, and one more. Join us. I promise it's the last one. Go, Richard.
Amelie, don't be shy.
Yeah. And Hannah? Hannah?
I don't see her.
Okay. All right. Thank you, and thanks a lot to everybody who came here, supported the startups, and we will see you at the beer garden next door. The drinks are on us, and so are the empanadas and samosas, like I promised in the beginning. So we will see you there with a drink in our hand. Thank you.